Bases dropped on a new round of SDH AM. John here, you there, and we are supersized today. We're going to be doing a couple different things here on the network, especially later in the morning at the same time. So here's the lay of the land. Tyler's going to join us at 9:15, and we'll break down Atlanta United Leagues Cup, all the things, getting ready for the matchup with Necaxa tonight. 10 o'clock, hopefully we can catch up with the busiest man in the Northeast, Dylan Butler. 10:30, coming out of practice, Carlos Rubio, the head coach of Hickory FC, as they get ready to travel from one end of the planet to the other to take on El Farolito in the NPSL final this weekend. And we go into extra time, 11 o'clock. And it's going to be a really cool visit from Tom Mayo, the executive director of Leagues Cup. And we'll talk about what happened last night, talk about the tournament, talk about the changes, all the things with Tom. But this is where we kind of get into the crossover. 10:30 pregame show on the network over at our Mixler channel and soccerdownhere.net. Atlanta United 2 in a morning match with New England Revolution 2. And so pregame at 10:30, kickoff at 11:03. So this is one of those where you're going to have multiple devices fired up and getting everything squared away with your day kicking off with us on a bunch of different places. So once again, Tyler, hopefully Dylan, Hickory FC head coach Carlos Rubio at 10:30, Tom Mayo, the executive director of Leagues Cup at 11. And then after Tom, then we sign off. But you will have already started with the first half of Atlanta United 2 and Revs 2. They flew up yesterday, and they are ready to go. I think it was lights out at 9:30, if I remember Braden Dunham's Instagram account. So what Braden does, for those of you that may not follow him on the IG, the Gram, or the Insta, I would recommend that you do so. He does a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, and he'll do a lot of the still photos or the quick videos and things like that. So what he got to do is let everybody in on travel yesterday. And so they've been up there. Yeah, they went up yesterday, and lights out was, I think, like 9:15, 9:30. So 10:30 pregame, soccerdownhere.mixler.com and at soccerdownhere.net. Kickoff at 11:03, if I remember my MLS Next Pronus. Then Jason will have the call there. Pregame show will have an interview with Javi Armas, with interim head coach Jose Silva. You'll find out about match week 20. And Maddie is going to be joining Jason also, and we'll get you ready for the matchup. Halftime, you'll hear obviously all the updates of what's going on with the twos, and we'll get you set for match week 21 in MLS Next Pro as well. So it's a busy morning here on SDH, 2 separate channels going. So the live here on social media with us, then the Mixler channel and soccerdownhere.net. You'll have match day coverage starting at 10:30, kickoff at 11:03. So that's the rundown this morning. So it's fast and furious, especially later in the 10 o'clock hour with all of our things going on all at the same time. Okay, so how was your Leagues Cup? Just thought I'd ask. Last night, you had your first go-round of matches, and so you had, if I remember correctly, so you had Pachuca winning against San Diego FC. Anders Dreyer gets a red card, so he's not going to be around for match day 2. San Diego FC is up against the wall. Mazatlan, 2-1 winners over LAFC, and that was in an 11-round PK, I believe. And so Mazatlan gets the extra point. Buanga, by the way, was the miss that gave the extra point to Mazatlan. Then you had Tigres thumping Houston, and there was some moments that I know that Ben Olsen probably would like to have back, especially from his defense. 4-1, and I think that this is going to be one of those examples of, okay, this is what you're going to need to proceed out of phase one. And in that, what I mean is that you are supposed to win, come up with as many points as possible in your group, and try and figure out ways to make yourself and your goal difference bigger than everybody else. And so I think that Tigres is probably leader in the clubhouse in that regard after match day one. And we'll see what happens if anyone can match them coming up later today. Puebla also in that same vein, 3-0 winners over NYCFC. And this is what happens if you're NYCFC and you play in New Jersey. So Puebla ranked 35 over 19th ranked NYC. Tigres ranked number 5 overall over 15th ranked Houston. LAFC ranked number 6, loses to Mazatlan 11-10 in PKs. 11-10 there. And Mazatlan ranked number 33. San Diego ranked 36. Pachuca ranked 26. Pachuca got the win 3-2. Then in your two early matches, they also went to PKs. Montreal gets the extra point, winning 7-6 at Stade Saputo against Leon, Team 25 versus Team 27. And Toluca ranked team number 3 in one of the big early battles here in Leagues Cup. Team 3 versus Team 4, 2-2 after 90. Big comeback there. And it was a fun match. It was back and forth at lower.com. But that goes to PKs, and Columbus had their PKs saved right and left. Diego Rossi had 3 penalty kick attempts, and it was a rough night for Diego Rossi. So I think that you have red cards, you have all of these rounds that were going on in PKs, 11-10 in PKs, Mazatlan and LAFC, 7-6 in PKs, Montreal and Leon, and then it goes to the top of the 5th for Toluca and Columbus before Columbus does not get the extra point and Toluca does. So your recap, 12-round shootout. You had a coach get sent off after a player kept throwing too quickly. You had VAR. You had all the things. And so I don't think that you could have had a better advertisement for the chaos that was the Leagues Cup. And there you go. So that's a little bit of the things to think about here on the morning. So we'll kind of be drifting in and out of topics. With Leagues Cup happening tonight, once again, standard kick for Atlanta United and for Necaxa. Necaxa is ranked Team 28. Atlanta's ranked Team 29. And it is on MLS Season Pass and Apple TV. 7:30, so 7:40 kick at Mercedes-Benz. Five Stripes Countdown will be there at 6:30. 92.9 The Game of the Odyssey app with Abe and Maddie. And then you'll have Mike and Jason on the match. And then you'll have Abe and me doing post-match. And so a full-time report will be after the match, 92.9 The Game once again, and the Odyssey app afterwards. So it's basically, it's a standard broadcast. It's just that it's Leagues Cup. And so you'll have that tonight on 92.9 The Game, Odyssey app, MLS Season Pass, and Apple TV Plus. And I don't know if this is a thing or not. But last night, as I was trying to determine if I could listen to local audio like we can with Major League Soccer, the one match that I wanted to listen to local audio that I knew was having local audio, it wouldn't register. And so this is probably something that we have to discuss with our friends at Apple TV and go, I'd like to listen to local play-by-play in this situation, but I don't know if this is a thing or not. Like I said, the one match I wanted to listen to last night with local, I couldn't. And so we'll see if this is something that is part of this season's lexicon in Leagues Cup, where it is just the Apple TV broadcast. Our buddy J.B. Watson is attached to it. Casey White is attached to it. And so that's where we are. But keep an eye out. And if you're watching on Apple TV, see if you can do the local radio option. And then get back to us tomorrow when we talk about it. And tomorrow we're going to be discussing Leagues Cup, Power Hour, Nino and Nico from 10 and 10:30. We've got all the transfers, got all the things, and we've got all that to discuss. Plus what's going on Friday as we get ready for Summer Series and Brew House and Atlanta United on the weekend as they travel down to Central Florida. They're not playing the Purple team, but they are playing in the Purple Barn. I love you, you love me. So there we go. All right. It is a quarter after, and so that means that our version of Ricky Henderson on Wednesdays, Ricky Henderson on Wednesdays, our top leadoff batter, our Rod Carew, our Ronald Acuna when he's healthy, Tyler Pilgrim hanging out with us from Scarves and Spikes. Name your favorite leadoff hitter in baseball, sir.
Oh man. I mean, you said Ronald Acuna when he's healthy, and I feel like after last week,
Oh, I know.
that was
I know.
me. It was
Oh,
a struggle.
yes. For those who may not have been aware, Tyler was struggling last week, and so he had to actually like not do things for a while, and that included us and all of like the normal world things. I imagine in a house of chaos that is what your house normally is, having to lay down, not do things, and try and regain regain your actual existence was probably somewhat counterintuitive to everything that goes on in the house.
Yeah, just a little bit. For those that don't know, like I got like super. I was working in the yard last Tuesday,
Uh-huh.
and like I was drinking water. It wasn't like I was just being an idiot. Um,
I'm not being an idiot.
but apparently that was not enough, and I got. I think it was a mixture of dehydration and just straight up like heat exhaustion.
Hmm.
But yeah, I that night I was like shivering because I was so cold, which is really stupid
That just sounds like
in
that
July.
sounds like heat poisoning or whatever the equivalent.
Yeah, like not quite heat stroke,
Yeah.
but um, and then yeah, I was like super cold, and then the next day was just like sore everywhere, like felt like I had the flu, and it was miserable. And that was the day obviously I was supposed to be on here. I was like,
Uh-huh.
"Hey, John,
It's
not
like
happening today."
sorry to let you know what's going on late, but dude, I am like not doing well,
Yeah.
and so you know that just don't get heat stroke or don't get any kind of sun poisoning or anything like
Yes,
that.
and
That's
that
all.
was before this week with the heat advisories.
Yeah, I know.
So I've had minimal outside contact for
Yes,
the past week.
no doubt. So then this is where we go back and we look at with you since it's been a while. Transactions, both inbound and outbound. Ah, yes, the blatant promo as it
Yeah.
always should be. Uh, it is inbound and outbound. We are in this like welcome to the secondary transfer window, and you have inbound, you have outbound, you have thoughts on close transactions inbound that are somewhat pseudo official, word of mouth, yay, not official yet kind of things. When you look at the inbounds and the outbounds before we get into actual game stuff, when you look at outbounds and inbounds, what sticks in your brain?
Um, I think first, kind of going back to the beginning,
Yeah.
obviously, Mihai was kind of, and this is going way back, but this was kind of
Well, you
the
haven't been
sign.
here. We have to catch up.
Yeah. Mihai to me was kind of the sign that things were going to change on the back line because with Stian not able to stay healthy all the time, um, Luis Abram we knew was coming up on the end of his time here, whether it was going to be at the end of the season with his contract or whatever. So I think that was kind of like the first cannon shot. I admittedly was not happy about like Efrain Morales and Noah Cobb, but I also understand it from a
Yeah.
business perspective. Like when I take off my emotional hat and put on the Chris Henderson hat, I'm like, all right, well, the kids are the ones that are actually playing well. So of course they're going to have value and people are going to want them. So you need, if you're trying to do this, you know what you want to do. The way to make it happen is to move on from guys that do have value and they are center backs and you are rebuilding your back line. Then, I mean, it's kind of a no brainer, even though I hate to see Noah Cobb and Efrain Morales go anywhere else but Atlanta.
Yeah.
Um, I got to say, from a personal perspective, I think Luis Abram, I'm so happy, admittedly, that he's gone. I don't think he was anything close to a net even neutral, much less a net positive for this team.
And that is a divided opinion. There are those. I mean,
Yeah.
there are those that will sit there and say that Luis was a quietly effective center back, and that's kind of the the conundrum that you have. It's you want your center backs to be as effective as Luis was defensively. But Luis is not by nature a very vocal individual. And, when you need folks to direct traffic, do this, do this, do this, I understand where, and you and I will disagree on Luis Abram, where I thought he was solid. I know that a lot of folks gravitate toward the salary number and look at salary number and defense and all these different kinds of elements. But Luis was one of those folks that divided opinions. And with a salary number that was as high as his was, there are 15 decisions that have to be made by Atlanta United at the end of the calendar year. And Chris Henderson and the front office decided that this was the time to make that decision on Luis Abram to give yourself some flexibility here in the secondary transfer window. Sorry, I interrupted. Keep going.
No, you're good. I mean, and I think that was the thing. Like, to me, Luis Abram near the, I would say honestly, most of 2025, like he's been a serviceable, solid center back. I think I was more concerned with what he did or didn't contribute to the locker room.
Right.
And I think that's where, there's a cultural thing here that needed to be fixed. And he was definitely one of those that.
You got company.
I got company. So you say hello? You want to give your thoughts on Luis Abram?
No.
I just think that, like, when you take everything into consideration, what he provided, again, the cap hit is what it is, because he was gone at the end of the season, most likely anyway. And then he's gone during every international break, which doesn't really help you a whole bunch. And then I think with kind of what I've seen and heard in the locker room, it just wasn't maybe the best fit for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, as much as fans are always asking for kind of a rebuild or something drastic, I think Chris Henderson has really, really taken that and tried as much as he can within MLS roster rules to, quote unquote, burn as much down as possible. So you need leaders. We know this. And sometimes it feels like we're just saying things over and over again, but you do need a cultural reset in that locker room. And you can't have guys that are in there not providing what the team needs.
On the season, 21 matches, 16 starts, just under 1,500 minutes, 88% passing, 9 fouls, fouls suffered 4, 1 yellow card. And that's just the basic numbers when it comes to Luis. His defense numbers, it was aerial duels, 53, winning just about 56.5% of his duels, 19 clearances in the 21 matches. Once again, the 9 fouls. Attacking numbers, not necessarily the attacking sort, kind of the stay-at-home center back. Just had the 1 header offensively in the 1,900 minutes. Passing stats at about 88%, had the 1 cross. Accurate long balls at 52%. Short passes, 198 total, so it was about 8 or 9 per match. Crossing percentage, 1/3, and 7 free kicks on the season for Luis Abram. So that's the quick stats, courtesy of our friends at Major League Soccer.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, playing like on the pitch, like when he first got here, I think he was very divisive.
Mm-hmm.
He had up and down moments. Of course, that was kind of during a time when Atlanta was going back and forth between a back 4 and a back 3.
Right.
And never really settled in. And I feel like he kind of played in and out of the lineup last year. And then this year, though, maybe partially by injury issues and other things, he's been at least consistent. But I just think it was the overall, package that is what Luis Abram provides both on and off the field. I just think you had to make a change because you need stability with this team, but you need to get whatever baseline that you want to build off of right. And I feel like that's where this team has had issues, because it doesn't feel like the foundation that will build that culture is there. Like, one corner of it's there with Brad.
Mm.
One of those cornerstones is there. He's not going to be here much longer, but the rest of the house is sitting cockeyed because there's no real other leaders on the field that are going to make that difference. And I feel like Mihai was a really good step. That's all I focused on with him in this last match was what is he doing like off the ball? What is he doing, during dead ball situations? Like, is he going to be a step up above a guy like Abram, who you really never see communicating much anyway on the pitch, much less off the pitch? And is he going to bring some more stability back there?
So you end up with Mateus Klick gone, Luis Abram gone, and then transactions for Efren Morales and Noah Cobb. So 4 out, Mihai in, Barakal in, and still waiting on paperwork and hoping that that happens in the next couple of weeks. Leo Afonso in, and it appears, and we were discussing it yesterday, half a dozen folks, various sides of the Atlantic, are mentioning that Steven Alzate, that deal is done. It looks like totally 1.870 million pounds, which came out to like 2.5 million total if you use your currency converter, and we do it, our friends at XE.com, and we need to have those kinds of things. So you end up with 2 center backs, Mihai and Barakal. You end up with, and this is so far because we still got 3 weeks left in the window. You end up with an individual in Afonso who can help you on the left, and we went over the financials with Messi and friends to make sure that deal happened, where the 2 separate deals. I'll get it in a second, but basically Messi and friends spent money and got rid of a player just to get an international slot so they could bring in Rodrigo de Paul by the end of the discussion. And then you will have a central midfielder in Alzate, in theory, who will help out Bart Sleesh, who will help out Will Riley, who will help out the individuals that are there. And so 4 in, 3 out, 1 mentioned, and that's kind of where we are right now with a couple of weeks left in the window.
Yeah, I mean, the Alzate deal to me intrigues me because that is essentially Dyla's guy. And if you're really, really pushing so hard for this guy, then clearly, you can take away the numbers, you can take away the stats, but if this guy has that dog in him that Dyla wants, by all means, man, come on. Like, but you better be the guy, like, because the head coach here is pushing for you. So, I mean, I have no reason to believe that he won't be a step up. I think Sleesh, as you said, like, he's been one of the most consistent players, much less midfielders, over the season. I mean, I love Will Riley, but Will Riley doesn't deserve to be just thrown into the fire. I think him coming on like he has in late match situations is perfect for him for now. Tristan Muyumba has been so inconsistent, in my opinion. And I mean, he'll have a phenomenal game. Look like, 2018 Darlington Nagby for a little bit. And then all of a sudden he just stops running and stops doing things. It's so wild to me. A couple months ago when Parkey came on to talk to me, he called Tristan Muyumba a coach killer.
Wow.
Which was very interesting. And it's nothing against Tristan as a person or anything. It's just that inconsistency, he kind of described it as he has a good game just often enough to make you feel like he should stay, and then won't provide enough kind of for the rest of the time. And so I imagine Alzate steps in there. Seems to me to be honestly a little bit more that bulldog number 6 that you've wanted for a long time, that can allow Sleesh, who I think is a little bit better in the attack, at least in that portion of the field, to get up, to help out Moranchuk. And, I think if you can solidify that position, then it does help out both sides of the pitch. I mean, and that's like soccer 101, but I just think, like, as ineffective as this like massive attack has been, I think having that guy there that kind of helps out, you can leave Latte Lath and Miguel Almiron a little higher up the pitch so that they can be much more effective than they have been.
And Bart isn't having to run 8.17 miles per match. And Abby, the gentleman that we are talking about, the 4th edition, is looking like it's going to be Steven Alzate, who is currently English Columbia heritage from Hull City. And he had 24 matches, I want to say, last season with Hull, had the 1 assist. And he came through the Brighton system and has spent time in the EFL Championship. And that right now, it was rumored last week. And so right now, Steven Alzate is that 4th individual so far for the inbounds and the outbounds for Atlanta United. And just as long as you mention – you mentioned someone having a dog in them, they're just going to have to understand that coming into this particular part of the country, that dog is going to have to be DAWG. It is not
100%.
Not just having a straight DOG in you.
Played for Dyla at Standard Liège.
Yes, and so that is so going after one of your own. So here's the Leo Afonso paperwork. So see if you can all follow along here. So before the Leo Afonso deal was made, and if I remember correctly, Chris drafted Leo Afonso before he was booted out of his office by Raul Sanlehi down in Fort Lauderdale, but still had to work in the building.
Wow.
Messi and Friends trade an international roster slot to Portland for $135,000 in Garber bucks. Then So international slot goes away, they get GAM. Then I imagine this was like, we are signing, we're signing Rodrigo de Paul, and we need to bring in El Motorcito Madman. We got to have an international slot because they were booked solid on international slots. So I imagine Chris was like, yo, Raul, here's I got an idea. So you have Leo Afonso being sent along with $225,000 in GAM for an international slot that you had traded away to another team a couple days before. So the math being, Messi and Friends front office spend $90,000 in GAM to drop Leo Afonso and send him to a separate roster. Must be nice if you have that kind of money and that kind of confidence in your roster. But basically, after 2 separate transactions in 3 days, Messi and Friends spend Garber bucks and ship a player away to get the international roster spot so they could bring in Rodrigo de Paul. I imagine that's the machination here. But the bottom line is they got rid of Leo Afonso. They sent him to Atlanta, and they also sent more money than they sent money and a player for a spot that they had traded away 2 days before. So that's the dynamic that was in play there.
Yeah, and it's I think a lot of times I would look at a transaction like that and be like, why? Like for Atlanta, like, is it just you just needing somebody on the left wing that bad? But like, and it's nothing against Afonso. I think you need to try what you can there. And I like what I've seen out of Luke Brennan. We've been saying this for years, it feels like. But I mean, you're essentially getting a free player almost. Like you're not having to do much for this.
No.
So,
and he is also league min at 80,622.
Yeah.
So he's rookie league min. His contract ends this year with option years to follow. There are 2 option years that follow in this deal. So 25 is the last contract year for Leo Afonso, option years 26 and 27.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing for me is Chris is very familiar with him. So this is not just like a Miami coming to Atlanta saying, hey, we got this guy, like, here, take him. And
you want a guy?
Yeah. This is Chris knowing kind of who the guy is. And I think, look, nothing may come out of it. This may not be like a big splashy thing.
But you ain't doing a whole lot.
Right.
I mean, this is basically like, yeah, okay. It benefited Atlanta in a position of need and a player that Chris Henderson's familiar with. And you kind of held, and you could say it however you wish. Wait for you to sip your coffee before I say this. You're kind of knocking on the door of your ex and going, no, I want my record collection back.
Yeah. 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 Give me my CDs.
I want, I want my Billy Joel the Stranger album. You can't have it. It's like the conversation in St. Elmo's Fire between Judd Nelson and Ali Sheedy when it came to the record collection. So you knock on the door. I want my record collection. Okay. And so then you get the record collection and you get the sleeper sofa. It's something like
The
that.
futon.
Yeah. So you got the futon, you got the record collection, and you came out on the plus side. So it really, really wasn't a whole lot of, it was a player that you valued, player that you saw, okay, I've drafted him. There was a reason I drafted him. Now I want to see him in this environment. And you kind of held Messi and friends over a bit of a barrel to make this happen. You look at this group, and I know that this is the first time that we have had the chance to catch up. Emilio's asking about the head official and the fourth swapping. Yeah, it was an injury. Apparently, it was a calf injury to the center official, and you had to have Alexis De Silva come in for Remy Touchon. I was like 20 minutes to go, I want to say.
Yeah.
And I can't legitimately, I cannot remember the last time that I saw a ref swap in a game.
I thought he was helping Muyumba like hurry off the field. And then I realized, oh no, Muyumba's helping him off the field.
And you end up with, and the thing is that we got into this back on Monday, and it was Remy Touchon is 5th in Major League Soccer in fouls called per match, but the most for any center ref who has called more than one match. And I think it was like 32, 32 and a half, 32 and a quarter, somewhere in there. He was under his number, but he was on par with his yellow cards, which I think are 5+. And it was just, it was oddly reffed. You get the 5th minute yellow card, but then you don't continue that behavioral pattern when it comes to fouling and persistent infringement. It was just that it was an odd duck having to try to follow this match. And it ends up with another banger from Alexi at 90+9 to get you the 2-2 draw with Seattle in a game that you pretty much, especially in the first 45, you were in control of. And then you had to navigate the second 45, the 2 goals that happened, De La Vega and 90+5 with Di Rosario. And then you have to come fighting back again. And Alexi launches from 25 to give you the point.
Yeah. It's funny. The whole ref change thing, it got brought up on our show simply because it's very probably an undermentioned part of a game like that because it's such a rare thing.
Mm-hmm.
We always gripe and complain and joke and everything else about refereeing and how inconsistent it can be. And y'all know that's my pet peeve. I can't stand inconsistent refereeing.
Right.
Either let them play, don't let them play, but just stick to it.
Yes.
It's one thing to have to navigate that between matches, like week in and week out. But then the fact that you have to go 70 minutes of one way that things are being called, and then suddenly things are being called a different way.
Yes.
That is incredibly difficult as a player to figure out and to navigate.
Woo.
So it does throw a little bit of a wrench into the game. To me, I felt like Seattle really took it, and this isn't like necessarily a game-changing thing, but I feel like Seattle responded to the reffing change very, very quickly in that they started really, really looking for fouls and really, really, kind of flopping a little bit. The dark arts came out, everything else.
Yeah.
It continues to be that 46th through 60th minute that plagues this team. It is insane. It is mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
I know this is like kind of beating a dead horse, but like if you can't fix that, then there's not much that you're going to be able to do until you fix it.
Yeah.
It's just a brick wall that you're hitting every single match. Your negative 15 goal differential. I know that stat's been thrown out a million times. Negative 15 goals in those 15 minutes throughout the season. That's insane.
3 scored, 18 allowed. Yeah.
Yep. So you got to get that situated. You got to, whatever you're doing in the locker room, moments before you walk out, you got to do something totally different. Do something totally different. I don't know what it is. Don't go to the locker room.
Sacrifice a live chicken.
Yeah, please. I don't really care anymore.
Candlesticks.
But then you go and like you give up that equalizer, then you kind of are up and down throughout the second half. You get dunked on in the most frustrating way in stoppage time, and then Moranchuk dunks back on Seattle. And I think he just like the no celebration thing. I'm happy because it shows that he's not content.
No.
He's not content with just a draw. Like that should have been the game winner at minimum.
Yeah.
And I hope that lights a fire. I just hope something lights a fire. But I will say they've been playing a little bit more impassioned, I think. I think it's like you see some more, but the team just has yet, in my opinion, one time this season to play a full 90-minute match consistently.
Not even the Cincinnati, where the Cincinnati win at home or anything like that.
I just don't. That would be the closest. I just think that like you haven't had a super convincing win this season, and I think more so like in those matches, there were moments where you still kind of fell off more than probably you should have, and you just were lucky to not maybe go down, as opposed to where you see a team that comes out and plays 90 minutes of their football, and if they lose, it's not because they just visibly switched off for any amount of time. It's just because, man, they just got outplayed at that moment in time. And I think that's the biggest difference that I've seen, like with Atlanta and a couple of other MLS teams this year compared to some of the ones that are on the top half. And that's the reason they're on the top half of the standings. Like, this is not a revelation, but it's just that Atlanta should be that team. Putting on my Atlanta hat for a minute, Atlanta should be that team considering all the resources they have.
Kind of thumbing through the Steven Alzate search on the 280 character app. James Hogarth from Umberside. I'm guessing it's Umberside. I don't think it's Humberside, but Umberside Sport and Radio Umberside, or Humberside, whichever. I always thought it was Umberside.
Yeah.
Sergei Yakirovich tells me Hull City won't be signing Mattia Frigan as the EFL restrictions won't allow it. Remains hopeful over Ollie McBurney, who's his first choice. He also tells me Steven Alzate left the club on Friday. So, as what, comparing that to what we have seen, it appears that Steven Alzate is not a Hull City Tiger, and he might even be on this side of the Atlantic, and so we'll see what happens next couple of days. And so if anybody sees a 26-year-old Steven Alzate come checking in to the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta training ground in street clothes in a bag, and it says like ATL on the ATL on the bag, and he's like making his way to the Parkway up there. So just let us know. But it appears from some local sourcing that Steven Alzate has not been in and around Hull City this week. So keep an eye on that. Just under $2.5 million US, 1.870 pounds with the fee and the add-ons. So it is looking the Magic 8 Ball says extremely likely.
Yes.
In this case. So yes.
Last week, I put out this thing of tweet, X, whatever.
Yeah, you put out this thing of tweet?
Yeah. Where essentially sources were saying that it was going to be a busy week.
Sources were saying.
Yeah. And now we know one of those obviously was Afonso, which we had rumored. The rumor was there. We had heard about it. Then there was the buyout for Luis Abram. And I imagine this is going to be maybe the final act, at least of the week.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's still a lot of time left.
We got 3 weeks left in the window. It's like until the window is done and until Big Ben chimes.
Yeah.
And or whatever the US equivalent would be. Maybe the Empire State Building changes color or something like that.
Yeah, or the Wall Street Bell.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The Monday morning you sit there and it goes like this, and that's the end of the window. Until the window is closed, I'm still keeping anything open because that was going to be my follow-up. Was with this 4 that we have seen so far, would you anticipate anything else? Are you in the camp of, I don't know what I'm anticipating, but would not be surprised? Or are you in the, I think they're done camp? Which one of the three beds are you sleeping in, Goldilocks?
I'm in between 2 beds on the floor. I think I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm also more anticipating that at least something else happens before the end of this window. I think Alzate, if that all comes to fruition, and who knows? I mean, if he's here, you'll probably see him somebody will see him at the bins tonight. We saw Mihai at the bins.
And you saw Bearcall.
Yeah.
Bearcall was at the match. Yeah.
Yep.
Last match, the Seattle match.
So I would imagine like tonight, somebody will probably spot.
Down in the Delta Club, you're sitting there going, hey, wait a minute.
Who's that guy? Hey,
you look familiar. I've seen stills of you on Twitter.
But no, I mean, I think that would be a very successful transfer window. It's, it's a handful of guys in and out. It's very busy. And you've kind of accomplished the goal of, at least modifying your back line. Mm-hmm. You've got a guy here that you believe is going to be a leader for a long time. You've got a guy here who's essentially on a tryout to also be the paired center back with him. Then if Alzate comes through, that definitely helps shape up your midfield in a way. You have a left winger. I don't know if that's the guy that you believe is going to be your starting left winger going forward for a long time, but you've got somebody else there alongside Luke Brennan because Edwin Mosquera's out, obviously. Things have happened. Sean De Silva went out a while ago. So, that's a successful window. But I know that Chris Henderson's not just sitting there thinking, well, this is all we had to do. There's still plenty to be done.
I'm done.
Can it be done now?
I'm done. I think I'm going to rest on what we've done. I'm done.
On the 7th day, Chris Henderson rested. I just don't think it's the 7th day yet.
No, that's so you sit there. It's like, what's one of my cards looking like here? Yeah, I think I'll fold. I think I'll stand on 16. I think that's not where we have not known Chris Henderson to be that kind of a front office individual. Nope. Leagues Cup tonight, Necaxa. Last night you had practically everything already happen in match day 1.
Yeah.
You had one of the league's MVP candidates get a red. You had a coach get sent off. You had 11-10 in PKs. You had 7-6 in PKs. You had Columbus not make a PK. You had Diego Rossi, who had completely apparently been snake bit by it's like, okay, we're going to put you on the spot, take a PK, and then it got saved. And the only time that works is when you're playing Joker's Wild. So night one of Leagues Cup had your chaos. How are you? What is your stance on Leagues Cup in general, sir?
I mean, I like it. I think
you're down. You're down with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think as busy as MLS is in general, this is kind of like a summer break in a way. And
going to summer camp.
Yeah. And I think I always enjoy when you see MLS be able to play teams in other leagues. That's why I love Champions Cup so much. It's just nice to be able to see how the league that you cover and watch day in and day out stacks up against what should and technically is their rival league in this hemisphere. I mean, and last night they didn't maybe do the best job of that for the most part, but Montreal gave me a little bit of hope that Atlanta United can go and get their first Leagues Cup win tonight.
Who is this Montreal and what have you done with Montreal?
Right, what happened? But no, I mean, I like it. I watched the games last night and I was really, really excited about the Columbus Toluca match. And man, first of all, Toluca, the way that they responded after going down a goal and then 2 goals, they never gave up. In fact, I felt like they became more aggressive. And that's the mentality that I want to see out of an Atlanta United team. They were getting frustrated at a lot of the refereeing calls. And I will admit, refereeing was suspect
Ooh, boy.
for sure in that match. But like, they didn't use that as an excuse. It wasn't a crutch. They went, they fought. They didn't let Columbus really do much at the end of the first half.
Oh, it was O'Shea Nation. No wonder they were upset. Okay.
Yeah, it was wild. But it was like this team mentality that I saw that I was like really, really impressed with. Now that it was like on the verge of like, you have anger problems with some of the players. Like it was kind of off the chain, but like I understood it because the calls were just very inconsistent. It was very frustrating. The mentality though was really, really cool. Columbus absolutely will feel hard done because let's see, was the first or second, I can't remember which goal it was, but one of Toluca's goals was 100% offside. 100% offside. And go back and look at the replay. I mean, even the announcers are like, oh, when they audibly go, oh.
Yeah, Sika and Sam, they had the call.
And then I thought, all right, well, this penalty, which I thought was maybe not quite a penalty, but whatever, it got, after a very long VAR review, got overturned and called a penalty.
Yeah.
And then Diego Rossi gets it blocked. Oof. And it's just like, I guess ball does lie in this game.
Yeah.
And then they go and lose in penalties. It's just drama.
Yeah, Rossi got the first one. He got the PK in the 11th, and then he missed the next two. Missed the one that could have gone a long way in the second half, and then he missed the PK attempt in the PKs.
Yep.
So you end up, Toluca had, from O'Shea Nation, for those who are up on their CONCACAFiness, Gajardo and Angulo got yellows in the 16th and the 37th. Not to be outdone, Sean Zawadzki and Jason Russell-Rowe got yellow cards within 6 minutes of each other to wrap up the first half. So you're at 2-2 at that point. Ruiz and Vega, in a coming together, end up with yellow cards, two in the same action, same minute. Ruiz and Vega, so it's 4-2 in the yellow cards. Then Pereira gets one, 5-2 in the yellow cards. So you had 7 yellow cards issued by O'Shea Nation on the night, 5 of them to Toluca, 2 of them in the first half on their own. And so you end up with fouls. You had 29 fouls called, 18 fouls called on Toluca, which resulted in 5 yellow cards. 18 fouls, 5 yellows, and then you end up with 11 fouls and 2 for Columbus on the night. So the XT was 2.6 to 2.1 to the home side in that one. But yes, O'Shea Nation causing eyebrows to raise in an entire country. Who knew? So Montreal gives hope for anyone and everyone playing a matchup at home. And as we all know, what Stade Saputo can bring to the equation, making it difficult. And then once again, not to be outdone, late 11-10. 11-10, people, for LAFC and Mazatlan before Denny Bouanga, of all people, misses. And at BMO, late night. For those of you who are up later than late, you had the 2 goals scored within 2 minutes of each other.
Yep.
29th and the 31st, and then the rest of it was kind of like, nope. And they went back to the top of the order.
Yeah.
They went back to Denny Bouanga, who had made his first. And so you have Bouanga, Delgado, Mark. Then Tillman does not make, and that was after the Caetano miss. So basically it was back-to-back in the bottom of the second and the top of the third. Then you have 3, 6, 8 makes in a row. Bouanga comes back, misses. Benedetti scores to come back to the top of the order. And, David Ochoa made his. Rodriguez made his. We go back to the top, 11-10. Thanks for coming by. Yikes.
Like that. It's over.
Yikes.
And it's tough because this is a format where, and I think you asked me how I feel about League Cup as a whole. I think if I had one really big gripe about it, I'm not a big fan of the format now because essentially like it's to shorten the tournament. It's to kind of take a little bit of the bite out of like how many matches you have to win.
Yeah.
But you basically have to be perfect to even get out of your group.
And win big.
Yeah. And so that's like, I mean, from an Atlanta perspective, that would be the most Atlanta United thing this year, is for them to go win all 3 of their games, but somehow not make it out still on goal differential or something stupid like that. And that kind of bugs me. But it's, I mean, it's like they're really shooting for and hoping for some big score lines.
Mm-hmm. And we saw that last night with Tigres and Hell in a Shell. There's the one screen cap of Ben Olsen that is making the rounds, where he's in the back of his chair and he's just kind of like this, his head's off to the side, and you're just kind of going, ugh. So that was Benny Ball. Dell asking about Necaxa. Right now in the current in the Apertura, they've hit each column once. The league has gone through the first 3 weeks of the competition, 1-1-1. They're 7th. And if you're looking for players to kind of gravitate toward, you're looking at Pavel Perez, who leads them in goals here in the Apertura. But obviously then you gravitate to folks like Agustin Palavecino, Dimer Cambindo, Johan Rojas, and Ezekiel Unsain. So those are the ones that you got to have to kind of that you gravitate toward in this particular case. But it's right now they're 7th, but once again it's early returns. Necaxa, they are they're coming to all the Liga MX teams come to the United States as a part of this, and I'm sure that I don't know if that gets addressed down the road or not. The interest of the Liga MX sides is something that we have to gauge going forward. But Necaxa comes to town. It will be an interesting showcase, and that there's going to have to be a lot of offense because of how things are laid out.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. You're going to have to get forward. Then on the other side of it, and also to kind of piggyback on that, I mean, Palavecino is a guy that he in the very short time that they've played so far this year, I say this year, this Apertura, he's been extremely effective, and he always is extremely effective. He is a very mobile, I don't want to say super pacey, but like super shifty number 10 or midfielder in general. And if Slish and whoever is paired with Slish tonight is not on, then it could be a very long night.
Yeah.
So, but the biggest thing is like you have to go score goals. This can't be one of those matches where you're struggling for your $50 million attack to get going. You've got to go score. If you want any chance of making it out of this group, you need to hit the back of the net multiple times. So,
and
we'll see. Clean sheet would be great.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of watching penalties in the bins anymore. So, clean sheet plus a couple of goals would be super nice. But just go win your first Leagues Cup match, please.
Puebla, to your point, it's the top 4 in the MLS sides, and the top 4 in Liga MX are the ones that advance to the round of 8 after the group stage. And right now, after match day 1, you're looking at Puebla with a win and a +3, Tigres and a win and a +3. So those are the things that you kind of have to keep an eye on in all of this. Win, maximum number of points on the board, a lot of goals, big goal difference, because I imagine tiebreakers are what they traditionally are. You go goal difference, goals scored, and then goals allowed, and you go from there. But obviously, look at goal difference, look at goals scored, and those are the 3 categories that you're staring at when it comes to all of your tiebreakers and advancing and things like that. So yeah, if you were last night, just say, if you're Pachuca and you win 3-2, that's great. You got full points, but your goal difference is only at a +1. Mazatlan only at 2 points. CF Montreal at 2 points, Toluca at 2 points, and the margin is at +1. So you need the 3s more than you need the 2s, and you need the goals scored. So leaning after match week 1, Tigres and Puebla would be your leading contenders to head outbound after the phase 1, as they call it.
And Puebla with the clean sheet, so they would take the step up on that one too.
At a +332 on the road in a match. And this is what happens when NYC plays in New Jersey, when they don't play either in Dillon Butler Estates in the Bronx, or when they play in Flushing, Queens at Citi Field. When baseball's getting in the way.
Yeah. They looked lost.
I know.
They look lost.
Not their barn. To answer your question, Dell, they do have turf fields in Mexico. I know specifically that Xolos, Tijuana, they play on turf. I think Santos Laguna plays on turf, but the majority of the fields in the Primera
In
in
Querétaro, I think, or maybe not.
and so there are turf fields do exist. They exist more in the lower divisions where you don't have promotion and relegation because they rescinded that a couple of years ago. But I know that Xolos and Tijuana does. Most of them are grass, but they do exist. So if you're looking at teams with turf, then it would have been a Xolos situation, something like that. We can go back and research all of that. But yeah, it is back to grass, and it will be intriguing. Since there tonight is a match night, obviously you guys went early, correct? With your weekly show.
No, we're actually going to do it tomorrow. We
Oh,
did.
okay.
We had MLS Monday on Monday.
Okay.
We're just pushing this one back till tomorrow.
Okay. So are you doing anything today leading into Leagues Cup? Are you at the hotel and wandering across the Home Depot backyard?
No, not today. When we planned out all the Signia stuff this year, Leagues Cup, because Atlanta has not been successful in it, was not super high on their priority list either.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kind of opted more for obviously the Club World Cup and then just some of the big Atlanta United matches as a whole. So no, we're going to be just doing our normal kind of pre-match show in the bins at 6:30, hanging out, just chatting about the lineups and all. And then yeah, tomorrow will be the normal show at 7:30. Or I'm sorry, 7. I can't get my times right.
Are you sure? Is it?
Yeah, I don't know anymore.
7 or
The
7?
dehydration's still affecting me.
Hey, look, just glad you're feeling better. We will see you tonight at Mercedes-Benz, and we will see what Leagues Cup has for Atlanta United coming forward. And as always, my friend, great to see you, and it'll be great to see you tonight when we are looking at Leagues Cup with Necaxa coming to town. 1-1-1, 7 points after 3 rounds in the Apertura. As always, my friend, great to see you. We'll catch up with you tonight.
All right, see y'all. Thank you.
All right, there goes Tyler. And so that means what we do is a hot change. And we have news for Dylan Butler for his beloved Newcastle. And I don't know if he wants it or not, but we're going to bring Dylan in anyway. They're touring. Dylan, you know that your Newcastle is touring, and they are touring the Far East.
Yeah, I didn't go to the matches this time.
You held back.
I was Philly. What did I do last year? Philly and Sports Illustrated Stadium. That was my. I didn't go to Atlanta for Miggy Fest, but
and you did not go to see them take on the K1 All Stars this morning, correct?
I did not.
The reason that I told you about this is because apparently Joe Willock left the exhibition match against the K1 All Stars with an injury and had to be carted off.
Fantastic.
So that was probably the biggest thing that at least made the news from our friends at Talk Sport and a bunch of other places. Yeah. So Joe Willock apparently adding to the fun of all of the palace intrigue involving Newcastle had to be taken off in the exhibition match against the K1 All Stars this morning. For yourself and your fellow Geordies like Alex, what does your gut tell you about Alexander Isak?
He'll be sold to Liverpool
for $11 gazillion.
I hope 11 and not 7 or so, but
yes.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems I don't know, like a manner of it's a foregone conclusion, it feels like at this point. So I kind of feel like the sooner we kind of get this whole thing situated, the better, right? And let's move on with the upcoming season.
And where is your level of optimism for your beloved Newcastle coming into the season? We can take the Isak soap opera and add it to this roux if you wish, but where is your optimism currently when it comes to your beloved Newcastle? That was a heavy sigh.
Well, it's when, as Alex knows, when you're beat down for as many years as you were under Mike Ashley, it's hard to be optimistic. I would say, like it's hard to enjoy the good moments because you're not used to them, right, from the past. Although, I mean, when my fandom first started, it was Ruud Gullit and you know, Alan Shearer was doing his thing, and they were making the cup finals and playing in the Champions League the first time around. So I maybe I've come full circle with this team, but so to your my long-winded way of answering your question is, you know, it's hard to have that sort of, you know, every fan is like extra sort of, you know, they think with a fan heart, right?
Yeah.
That said, you know, would just love again to be in Champions League contention. You know, that would be great.
Understood. Since we are in the transfer window, the secondary transfer window, as the kids say, we are hearing a bunch of moves. We talked to Tyler in the first hour about the 4 moves at Atlanta United, technically the 8, 4 in and 4 out, close to the 4th one in right now. And you have Messi and friends bringing in El Motorcito, Rodrigo de Paul. It appears Thomas Müller is now going to be heading to Vancouver, and the same kind of deal where he is an AM player this year and a DP player next. And it also appears that Matt Turner, and this is the stuff that has come through the rumor bin, apparently, and this comes from our friends at Blazing Musket, it appears that the Revs may be kicking the tires on a return for Matt Turner, loan with an option to buy that keeps Matt Turner TAM eligible. Lyon, Nottingham Forest, and all these clubs that are kind of sitting there going, well, you want him, don't you? Well, yeah. Well, what's he worth to you? Well, what about this? And what if we said this? Well, what about this? And so Lyon and Nottingham Forest, they're going back and forth. And, you know, the Revs are kind of like, well, what about us? With these transactions with Rodrigo de Paul in, it looks like Mueller over, with Matt Turner having his proverbial tires being kicked for a return. What are you digesting right now when it comes to those moves here in the transfer window, and anything else that has caused your eyebrows to either furrow or raise so far with a week gone?
Well, I think it's smart. I mean, look, especially I think any player who has the opportunity to play in next summer's World Cup needs to play games, right? And that's especially the case with the U.S. men's national team goalkeeping position, which is very much an open competition right now, right? You know, is it Turner was the favorite for the longest. Before that, it was Zach Steffen who was the favorite. Matt Freese had a really good Gold Cup. So, you know, there's multiple candidates there to be that guy. So to be that guy, you need to play games. You know, there's no, you know, look at the Zach Steffen situation as an example. It's no use in being on Man City's books, right? Wearing the gear and all that, and going off and not playing games. So you need to stay sharp, especially in that position. So I think if I am Matt Turner's representation, I'm saying who is going to give me the most amount of games, right? Where is he going to play regular soccer? So if it's the Revs, then so be it. He'll be welcome back. He'll have a hero's welcome there. They'll have a little parade there, a Patriot Place.
Mm-hmm.
And if that gets him next summer on, you know, into the starting for the U.S. men's national team at the World Cup, then that's what he's got to do.
Along those same lines, well, the rumor, gossip, and innuendo that we have this morning, according to TalkSport, Manchester United have opened talks for Benjamin Šeško after sending a delegation to Germany to meet with RB Leipzig. The move for Šeško is being driven by head of recruitment Christopher Viviel. Chief negotiator arrived a few days ago, aware they have to move fast, with Newcastle also pushing for Šeško's signature. Leipzig quoted Arsenal a price in excess of 80 million euro for Šeško earlier in the window, with sporting director Andrea Berta unable to drive the price down. Newcastle and Manchester United believe a transfer could be possible for closer to 70 million euro. Here's TalkSport's wording. Having already whiffed on a number of their key targets window, the Magpies are understood to be fearful yet another deal could be hijacked. Šeško, one of two active options for Manchester United, along with Ollie Watkins. Though TalkSport understands Ruben Amorim would prefer the latter, Villa don't wish to sell. United may persist with talks and even test that resolve with a bid. Have not ruled out making a formal offer, albeit one below Villa's £60 million valuation. So everyone's...
That was my other favorite part, too, of this whole saga, right? The whole Isak saga is Liverpool's like, we're going to get him. And Newcastle like, all right, we're lining this other guy up. Like, ooh, we like that guy, too. We're going to take him as well. Like, great, thanks.
So it's Mbeumo, Delap, Joao Pedro, Dean Houston, and Hugo Ekitike. We're all wanted by Newcastle and have all gone other places. You did get Anthony Elanga from Nottingham Forest in a £55 million deal. Eddie Howe knows the addition of the Swedish international won't be enough for the upcoming campaign as they return to Champions League. Howe said after their defeat to Arsenal in Singapore, were you at that match, sir?
I was not, no.
Howe said, we're not deluded. We know we need to bring players in. We've known that. We know what we wanted. It's been a challenging window. If the inability to land their top targets hasn't been enough of a blow, Isak threw a major spanner into the works, whatever that means, when he informed Newcastle.
It's a wrench. I think it's maybe a wrench.
Thank you. I'm spanner. I have no earthly clue. Isak broke last Thursday, left behind for the club's preseason tour of Singapore due to what the club initially claimed was a minor thigh injury. That might be where his wallet is. Howe conceded there's no chance Isak is a late arrival on the tour. Latest on the future, £150 million price tag on his head, remains contracted till the summer of 2028. Isak has yet to submit an official transfer request, so you still have that. And then, like I said, everybody's circling back to Šeško. Johan Vissa is another target. Brentford is demanding at least $40 million. Vissa has taken himself out of training after the Magpies had a £25 million bid rejected by Brentford, who've indicated all interested parties they'll take upwards of 50 to bring him to the negotiating table. So, oh boy, man, that's the fun part of silly season. We mentioned Matt Turner, and the biggest thing with Matt Turner is, dude, you got to play. You got to play. You got to play. You got to play. And the other aspect in this with Thomas Mueller is the whole idea of dibs, where Cincinnati had dibs.
Yes.
Dibs drives me crazy. Dibs in this league drives me nuts.
Well, because dibs also then leads into GAM.
Yes.
GAM.
And basically you end up with dibs. Cincinnati had dibs on Thomas Mueller, and I understand the why there. I'm just waiting for folks to have dibs on, like, Jude Bellingham and Vinicius and Mbappe and all that stuff.
It's funny, when we were kids, like, that was like such a strong
dibs.
You couldn't. There was no, like, it was like an ironclad contract.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, okay, he's got dibs.
Mm-hmm.
That we could do.
Mm-hmm. He's got dibs. Yeah, so since he had dibs on Thomas Mueller, and because of how things are currently structured in Major League Soccer, Cincinnati's like, well, nuh-uh. You want him? Well, what's he worth to you? And so I imagine the conversation, it was a Zoom call among Cincinnati, Vancouver, and the league office.
Where rocks, paper, scissors were played?
Probably, yeah. Or it's like, you have the folks in the league office going, I have a number. Do you have a? It's like everybody's writing numbers down on sheets of paper. Vancouver's like Price is Right. They wrote down like $1. Everybody shows there. It's like, okay, so league office is like, all right, Cincinnati, we need you to write down a number. What Thomas Mueller's dibs are worth to you. Vancouver, we need you to write down a number about what you're willing to pay for said dibs. Vancouver, Axel Schuster, he's probably like, okay, $1, like the Duke brothers. He sits there. It's like he flashes up the card and it says $1 on it. And
5 gam.
Yes, and Cincinnati is like $1 billion. And they go like, and Noonan goes like that. And then they all flash cards, and then New York is like, okay, we need to come up with a middle ground here. I don't know how they came up with 400,000, but dibs drive me nuts. Thomas Mueller, by the way, if this becomes officially official, you look at that front four for Vancouver and what it could be when they're healthy, and that could be bordering pretty sick numbers offensively.
Yeah, seriously. No, you're right. And I think I think the wildest thing of this whole equation is still Ryan Gauld hasn't stepped on the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
You would hope if and when he does, if he can get back to his previous form, right?
Yeah.
This is a serious cup contender.
Yeah. And the Twitch pitch is on it this morning. First off, Alex, thank you that it is in fact a wrench.
Oh, there we go.
Dale says, who has Lamine Yamal's rights? That would be the next question. I think that the whole idea of dibs is in hermetically sealed envelopes in a skiff inside MLS's offices, kind of like the ACC's deed of gift. It's like in some place where you can't see it, and only certain folks with handprints or ocular ID can go into this room. The dibs rules and the costs and what the values of these players are. I think it's in a skiff in MLS's offices, and only like Don Garber can go in and see what it is. Who has Lamine Yamal's rights? That would be a big question. And that would be one of the interesting ones for me. But Alex, once again, is correct. Dibs is a natural law. It is a natural law.
And so, like, if it became a heated situation and police came, what's going on here, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had dibs, and then he challenged. Oh, no. We're done.
Yes,
you got dibs.
Yes,
good day, guys.
Literally, that's it. Cops come by. I had dibs. Okay, we're done. We're done here. This is how this works.
That settles it.
And Abby is absolutely correct. It's like calling shotgun. It is dibs and shotgun. Same premise. It's like whoever said shotgun first. Whoever said shotgun got the passenger seat. That is exactly what this is. As ludicrous as it is to have dibs in Major League Soccer and discovery rights, we go back to Cade Cowell, I want to say. There was another one of those great discovery rights situations where, no, you got to pay me. It was like 50 grand as opposed to 400. But I mean, you're looking at what? Gauld, White, Jaden Nelson, Mueller, Sebastian Berhalter. I mean, that's some pretty major stuff when and or if and or when Thomas Mueller comes. But the challenge, I think, for Jesper Sorensen is to keep Thomas Mueller from turning into Marco Royce, where Royce and LAG was just like, bruh, get plugged in here. And it's like somebody.
Well, he is now, but it took him a while. Yes.
Yeah, and so you want that instant where you're not just restarting and hitting Control Alt Delete on Marco Royce's laptop. To get him restarted. You want Mueller to come in from the absolute beginning. And then Rodrigo, you end up with. And we talked about how Messi and friends are spending money and dumping players to get international slots back that they gave up in trades, so they could sign Rodrigo and bring him in. Shouldn't we just go ahead and announce the fourth DP and just get this over with?
It's, yeah, but it's so much fun watching, especially Chris Henderson in Miami, kind of. Massage the whole situation and work around it, and it's a loan for now, and then it's going to be could sign him when another guy's off the books. And
I mean, that is where I give these teams that massage the cap and massage the rules. When you have capologists of the highest order that are doing these kinds of things, I'm like, more power to you. Love the fact that you're doing this. The rules are what the rules are, and you're doing some serious damage, and you're doing what you need to do. But I mean, seriously, I mean, yeah, you're buying folks down. You're turning them into TAM. I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a player today. Here's hey, here's a personal services contract. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. How about, would you like an endorsement deal? Those kinds of things that'll make it. But I'm just to the point to where it's like, yeah, I enjoy the creative. Yes, where Abby refers to it as creative contracting. So I get it. It's exactly what that is. But just let the governor out of the golf cart a little bit. I'm to that point now where you're sitting there and it's like, go ahead, just give me the fourth DP, open up the books a little bit, and you're like, yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll just go ahead and do it.
I'm going to be what I'm interested in a little bit, and it's a little obviously down the road, but
yeah,
as the World Cup arrives and then post World Cup, how different the structure of MLS is, right? Is it a complete, doors blown off, we're going for it, or is it still kind of carefully pushing the cart along and making sure everything is financially feasible, all that kind of good stuff. And I think I've looked back, 20 years ago,
sure.
30 years ago, that was a smart move, right? Like you don't want to go down the NASL road.
No.
But so many fans and others are, waiting for the, let's open the doors a little bit, right? Let's open those windows. Let's let some fresh air come in.
Let some of the fresh air come in. I don't want to trust my air conditioning and the Freon to completely and totally just screw up the engine. You saw the Cosmos are coming back in USL League One, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
They're playing over in New Jersey.
What version is this of them now?
This is going to be
4?
Well, because you had the 70s version in the NASL where they were both the Cosmos, and they were the New York Cosmos when they were on Randall's Island.
Yeah.
And then they were the Cosmos when they went global and played over in the Meadowlands, or I guess then it was East Rutherford, and then over in the swamps. And then they came back with Serna and oh crap, and then NASL's version 2.
Oh, Raul. Yeah, that was fun. I covered them a lot.
So you had that. So that's
out of Hofstra.
Version 3. And so this is version 4, where I guess they just attach themselves to the branding. They're just Cosmos, and they're playing in New Jersey at a Hall of Fame-ish, old school refurbed stadium, and they're going to be in USL League One. That's it's like, yeah. So the Jersey version of the Cosmos, where you're just Cosmos, is coming up, and so I saw that and I was like, ooh. I'll probably end up buying gear or something like that. I mean, just add it to the stacks.
That's this scarf over here, by the way. This one is a Cosmos. They had it was a breast cancer awareness.
Very nice.
Scarf, yeah.
Very nice. When it comes to the window in and of itself, who in your mind has to be a mover and a shaker? And who, I mean, obviously the big names are probably going to stand pat. They may tinker a little bit, but who has to boogie?
I think the teams that have themselves like if you're San Diego, I think you're in a good spot. Like you've got maneuverability, and they've obviously shown an ability to hit on those biggest signings, right? So. I look at a San Diego for sure, but it's kind of like you're hearing all LAFC being bandied about as well. Columbus got their Cucho replacement. NYCFC signed an attacking player. Seemingly the Red Bulls are not going to hit on Timo Werner.
Yeah, because that was out there yesterday. I saw it for the first time. I think
that he was out.
That he was that is being rumored as coming over to this side of the Atlantic.
Oh, I mean, yeah. My only him being out was apparently he deleted New York Red Bulls from his like watch list on on the gram. So that's what some fans.
I don't like you anymore.
Maybe that changed.
I don't like you.
But yeah, look, I think any team that has needs, and that's just about everybody except for Miami, I guess.
Yeah.
At this point, should be active. It's going to be a very, I think, very interesting window because of the tiers, if you will, of competitiveness, right, that we have. So I think any number of teams will be involved, but also we'll see what the outbound looks like as well.
According to Tommy Scoops, within the last day, Red Bull's offer still on the table for Timo Werner. The club made their push, still hopeful. No green light from Werner yet. Red Bull's offer is the best. Red Bull New York offer is best on the table because it could be Bragantino, and I would have, then be like, what? Red Bull New York offer best on the table, but not as much as he's making at Leipzig. TBD what happens. Red Bulls can't wait forever. That's Tommy Scoop's words on Timo Werner and this side of the Atlantic. So, yeah, it's we can't wait forever. Literally, this is like it's dating all over again in the transfer. I can't wait forever. You've got to make up your mind. Timo Werner's like, well, I don't know. Yeah, maybe if we go to nice dinner. Go to a nice dinner and we talk it over a little bit. Maybe, just saying.
You don't want to get into the friend zone, though.
See, and that's the thing. Red Bulls New York, they're trying, I think, to turn this into something more than the friend zone. And I don't know if Timo Werner wants to. I don't know if Timo Werner wants to take that step into the relationship. I
don't know if he likes the Red Bulls.
Check yes or no. I mean, it's the note in class from Red Bulls. Do you like Red Bulls New York? Check yes or no, and then it comes back. Just have to make sure that the teacher doesn't grab the note as it's being passed in class, and Don Garber sits there and looks at it and goes, "Oh, you mind if I show this to the rest of the class? Oh, you don't mind, do you? Okay." So then then the teacher just sits there and reads the note. This was sent from Red Bull New York to Timo Werner's agents.
Check. And then Tommy Scoop finds out. He tells the schoolyard.
Yes, exactly. You go running out and all these kinds of things. Leagues Cup, are you on the desk? Are you doing things?
I was last night till about 2:20 or so.
Dude, wow. So let's see. What did I miss? 11-10 in PKs, 7-6 in PKs. Don't let Diego Rossi take more than one PK in a match. Puebla won big.
Why didn't Gazdag take? I don't understand.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I thought he was pulled out of the match. I didn't know if you could cycle back once you were done.
Oh, yeah.
Puebla wins big. Tigres wins big. Pachuca wins. Dreyer gets a red card. What else did I miss?
CF Montreal, ring the bell.
Yeah, ring the bell.
Big win for them. Prince Owusu continues his hot form, 10 goals in his last 10 matches. In a world where we had Columbus, San Diego, LAFC, Houston playing, they said at a sold out Shell Energy. Who knew that it would be Montreal flying the MLS flag on night one of phase one of the Leagues Cup? So listen, well done for them. It's their fans. We come. It's a week removed from you reading a tweet about Montreal saying, we got to do better.
Mm-hmm.
And for 90 minutes in PKs, and they should have probably won that match in regulation time. Good for them. I mean, it's a blank slate for the teams that have struggled. Thinking of a Montreal, thinking of an LA Galaxy. So good for them. Does that mean they're going to be one of the 4 teams to get out? No, probably not. But for at least a Tuesday night at Stade Saputo, the fans could leave happy. And they're saying it was the Donadell saying it was the best performance of the year. So kudos to them.
So are you back on the desk tonight?
No.
Good for you, especially
No.
being in at 2:20.
I'm back on Saturday, Sunday.
Cool. As always, my friend, great to see you. Great to catch up on everything. What's the mug this morning?
I didn't even, it was a late-ish wake up, and the coffee was still percolating. So I don't even have a mug of coffee to show you. That's my first order of business after we disconnect.
All right. Well, go get your coffee, my friend. We'll catch up with you again next week.
All right, buddy.
All right. There goes Dylan Butler. And now it's time for the hot change. And here is someone, and depending on the signal from the practice field up in North Carolina, time to catch up with a coach. Carlos, you are preparing for a title game, sir. Congratulations, Coach of the Year in the NPSL. Thanks for dropping by. I know it's a busy time. Thanks for spending a couple of minutes with us. And he dropped out. Heartbreaker. I do all the teases and everything, and the signal dropped. Carlos Rubio, the head coach of Hickory FC, is getting ready to take on El Farolito. We will talk about the season. We'll talk about the things and talk about all the stuff. And so, Carlos, you got your ears on.
How we doing?
You tell me. You're the one chasing after a title game.
Really excited. We just finished training right now. Boys did really well today, so I'm over the moon.
What has the season been like for you guys, for those who haven't had the chance to watch?
It's been an incredible season. Obviously, we knew when we put this team together earlier in the year that we were going to have the roster to have a really good season. But at the end of the day, when you play really good opposition all throughout the year, you never know how those small margin games are going to go. And especially in a league like the NPSL, when it gets to the conference, you could lose one match on penalties after going undefeated the whole year, and that's it. So the boys have been doing really well, and just kudos to them. They deserve every bit of success.
Brag on your guys a little bit. Who's been standouts so far this season?
Oh, it's a difficult one for me because I think the most special thing this year is the amount of players that have contributed. Obviously, we've got Tony Pineda, who was awarded the Golden Ball for the NPSL as the best player of the league. But I think the biggest thing for us as a coaching staff is that we go into every single Friday and we spend hours putting the 18-man roster. And that is tough. And that's probably the most difficult thing I have done on my 8 years coaching is put together a roster for this team every single Friday, because I know I'm leaving 3, 4, 5 players that could be easily a start for us.
6,247 got to see the win over Stokesy. What has the environment been like up there at Correct this year?
Yeah, I mean, our fans are fantastic. I know we spoke a lot about that last year, but this year they just took it to a different level. From the organization, the club, providing an environment that families want to be part of, because at the end of the day, yes, soccer is a sport that is growing in our community and families and little kids play, but it goes deeper than that. It's just creating an environment where people that maybe are just starting to watch soccer want to be part of, want to come for the match, for the environment, for the crowd, for the facilities. So a fantastic job goes to our GM and our ownership group, and our community has got behind the team. It's incredible to say that over 6,000 people were supporting us this past weekend.
Hickory FC head coach Carlos for El Farolito. What has study hall been like? What have you seen from them? They knocked off Michigan Rangers 2-0 to get to the title game. They host it. What have you seen in El Farolito? And I think he dropped out again. Oh, man. we have to edit this together when this ends up on the SDH AM for the weekend on 92.9 The Game and the Odyssey app as we get you ready for the title game. So Carlos will log back in, and we'll ask about El Farolito. He is standing literally on the turf at Lenore Ryan University, and he is wandering around trying to get a cell signal, trying to break down everything that we have seen involving Hickory FC as they get ready for El Farolito in the national championship for the NPSL. And it has been a long run for them. It's been great to catch up with them when it comes to Carlos. Carlos traditionally will catch up with him before practice, and it ends up with one of those where it ends up as 5 o'clock Pacific time, Kezar Stadium in San Francisco. Kezar Stadium, for those of you that may not know, Kezar is the old home of the San Francisco 49ers. El Farolito is, Del, they are based in San Francisco, and they are named after a very famous Mexican restaurant in the San Francisco area. And they were the ones that made the run in the Open Cup. I want to say it was last year. And they kept knocking off a bunch of teams, knocking off a bunch of teams, knocking off a bunch of teams. They were the club that got the bonus for advancing the farthest as the lowest division club. And so El Farolito, they have made it to the end of the run in the NPSL. I want to say 2 of the last 3 years. I think that they're chasing after a championship. Hickory, it's been great for them to chase after a championship. And El Farolito, they had to come east last time, and I remember catching up with them in a hotel room. Very, very sleepy El Farolito folks. But they get to host it at Kezar Stadium. When you go back and look at old San Francisco 49er stuff in YouTube, the first place they played before Candlestick Park was available was Kezar Stadium. And that was the first home for the 49ers, Kezar. And Kezar fell into disrepair after they left and went to Candlestick Park. And it ended up with one of those projects that was near and dear to a lot of folks in San Francisco, where let's renovate Kezar Stadium and kind of put in a basis for a base for stuff and for folks to remember the history of what's going on. And so El Farolito is taking on Hickory at Kezar Stadium. There you are. Where are you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, are you on the practice field right now?
Yeah, we're in the practice that is over 90 degrees here, so my phone overheated.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Sorry about that, John.
No worries. What has study hall been like getting ready for El Farolito, who everybody knows is chasing after the championship? Their expectation is to be there. What has it been like studying for that group?
I mean, obviously, at this stage, where if it's Farolito, we have in Michigan, every team has enough quality to deserve to be on the final. So it's going to be a tough match. Obviously, they come from having a fantastic campaign in 2024. Obviously, this year they had a really good record, really good matches. We watched the last few in preparation for them. So we feel ready. We know they got a lot of strengths. We have two. So it's now a matter of now finding where we can be a bit better than them, which areas we think we can exploit, finding those and recreating those moments as much as possible during the match. So a lot of study, a lot of preparation, but at the end of this day, it's gonna come to the ball and 90 minutes of soccer.
What have you learned about yourself as a coach this season you might not have known before?
Oh, that's a really good question. The staff and myself speak every day. What I was saying earlier is how tough it is to have a roster of 20 plus players where we think that all of them could represent the community and the team on the pitch really well. So managing those, the expectations of the players, being transparent and honest. For just to give you an example, we have Tomas Polacci, our team captain. He's only started one match for us this year, but he's come off the bench goal scorer in our team. He scored the 3-1 the other day, 2 minutes into being in the match. First ball he touches and he puts it in the back of the net. So explaining to the guys what their role is going to be and then buying into. And that's been one of the things that obviously a lot of the credit goes to the players.
When you are chasing after, as he dumped out again and his phone overheated, so I'm not going to keep him for much longer. When he dials back in, I've got like maybe one more question, and his phone's overheating. It is so funny. 2025 NPSL Coach of the Season, Carlos Rubio, and you've got Antonio Pineda named Golden Ball, Conference MVP title, Southeastern Conference, and undefeated regular season for Hickory. Haven't lost, knocked off App FC in the Southeastern Conference. I've got to ask him about undefeated, to delve to your point, and chasing after Rastosi and making sure that you get to the last match of the year. I've got the one final question I'm going to ask him, and it has to do with being undefeated for an entire season. So this is the top of the pops. It is the best in the East, or best in the South, best in the East, best this side of the Mississippi, best the other side of the Mississippi, going at it. And we'll catch up with Carlos. That one final question that I have for him before we let him go, and we go over all the rest of the news and everything before we catch up with. It's not every day that we get an executive director, you know. So executive director for no, Tom is coming on at 11. So we're going to go long this morning, but long is kind of a relative term. Tom Mayo is coming on at 11 o'clock. We'll talk about Leagues Cup then. And then reminder right now over on SDH on our Mixler channel and at soccerdownhere.net. It's the pregame show. It is Jason getting you ready for Atlanta United 2 and the Revolution 2. So they did announce the starting lineup. So let me give you the starting lineup involving Atlanta United 2. So, all right, one more question for Carlos, and then he can go rest his phone. Or there's Jarrett. Jarrett waiting for Carlos Rubio's phone to unoverheat or cool off is probably the best way to phrase it. Tom Mayo, the executive director of Leagues Cup, coming on at the top of the hour. But for you, hey, Atlanta United 2 is coming on at 9
a.m. for me. 9 a.m. I'm so excited. I'm not even screwing with you. I'm so excited.
Oh,
I have a 9 a.m. game time. This is amazing. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, so starting lineup for Atlanta United 2 in Foxborough. John O'Ransom in net, Caden Moore, Sal Mazzafero, 1v1 with Sal is up on the network, so you can go back and catch up with that. Ronan Wynn, Braden Dunham, Javi Armas, Aiden Torres, Moises Tablante, Gabriel Wesse, Ryan Carmichael, Rodrigo Neri. Your bench, James Donaldson, Nick Sesek, Toto Majub, Didi Cibrian, Suarez, Arif Kovac, and Patrick Weah. So that is your lineup going up against Revolution 2 at Foxborough, coming up top of the hour. Atlanta United 2 and the Revs.
Yeah. Again, 10 out of 10. I have a 9 a.m. start time. Screw everybody else. Everyone else can suck it. I get to watch MLS Next Pro at 9 a.m. like a true psychopath. Jesus. This is great. And then I get Leagues Cup tonight. And if you're upset about Leagues Cup existing for a number of reasons, be that A, you think it's cash grab. Hi. Yeah, so many major cups around the globe are a cash grab.
Yep. Hi, Gummy Bear.
They just are. Like you're not on a high and mighty pedestal because you think MLS is doing a cash grab. Welcome to every major sport on the planet. You want to find something that's not a cash grab. I don't know, pick up on the weekends with your friends maybe, because even like Atlanta Sports Social back in the day, like I worked for them back in the day. I promise you, so there's tons of money there.
Yes.
And if you're lamenting is Atlanta is playing soccer and you're going to feel bad about it, I don't know, go find something else to do with your time. No one's holding a gun to your head and making you watch this game tonight. You can just not go watch it. This is in the same vein. Jesus Christ, they're already doing football trainings out here. Sorry, it's 2 days. This is in the same vein as this time of year, every year, when everyone decides, that's okay, Del. I don't know what I look like either. This is in the same vein of everyone deciding to, about this time every year, post there, I'm not renewing my tickets. Great. Neither am I, because I moved 2,000 miles away.
Mm-hmm.
I know people who didn't renew because financial decisions or life changes. That's okay. If you don't want to renew, I'm not going to judge you. If you're not going to renew because I'm not happy with this product, okay, cool. That's how commerce works. That's how the economy works. That's how capitalist society works. I'm not happy with the product I'm paying for, so therefore I will not pay for it.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Good work, everyone. Y'all got through macro.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you. Here's a gold star. I don't need 3 paragraphs explaining why you will or will not keep your season tickets, and I do not need a passive-aggressive multiple paragraphs explaining why or why not you will or will not watch this team tonight. I don't care. Do what you want. Make yourself happy. If that involves not watching soccer, great. If you hate watch this team, just make a decision. Just live your life.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be shouted from the mountaintops. You don't wake up in the morning and tell people that you go to Denny's with the guys who got out of overnight lockout and have all of the salted eggs and bacon possible. You don't shout that from the mountaintops. You don't have to tell everyone you will or will not watch the game tonight. You did, you didn't. Okay. This is not a complex algorithm. Let's have fun with it if we want to watch it. And if not, I hope you have a wonderful evening doing something else, because I won't blame you. Hell, I'm going to be keeping an eye on our old friend Gonzalo Pineda with Atlas playing against Miami.
Oh.
I want to see how much murder happens in that game.
Yes. So Tom Mayo had something come up. We're going to push him to Friday. So we'll be out at the normal time today. We will go long on Friday. So we'll catch up with the executive director of Leagues Cup Friday morning at 11. So we'll go long on the last show of the week, and we'll catch up with him. Literally, I just got the note from Major League Soccer. And so we're going to push Tom Mayo back to Friday morning at 11, and we'll go long there. I also sent an email to Carlos Rubio. I said, look, I've got one more question to ask you before you put your phone on ice. Might be 1.5 about travel plans, but to Dell's point about being undefeated for an entire season, I wanted to ask about that. So if Carlos gets the chance to read his email, if his phone doesn't fry for being out on the practice field at Lenore-Rhine in the next, say, 15 minutes or so, remember, pregame show going on right now, soccerdownhere.mixler.com and Atlanta United, and soccerdownhere.net. Atlanta United 2, Revs 2. Pre-game show, you're going to hear from Javi Armas. You're going to hear from Jose Silva. You're going to hear from Maddie. You're going to hear Jason. You're going to hear the wrap on week 20 to get you ready for Atlanta United 2 and for Revolution 2. Kick at 11:03 from Foxborough. So you'll have that pre-game show going on right now. Kick at 11:03.
Well, now here's the thing. Derek. It's like I am like very, very tired of reading everyone's lamenting. Everyone writing an Edgar Allan Mother Poe piece anytime it's a home game or a road game with this team. I get it. Like, we cover games. We're at this today now, not including me. We're at the stadium for damn near every game. First team and second team. We've watched this tripe. We understand. Whether or not you think it's like whether or not you think it's all sunshine popping, I promise it's not for me.
Yep.
But we get it. It's not been great. It sucked. I promise it's not any more fun to cover when it's bad. It's not fun to go ask guys questions when it's bad. I just am exhausted because we get it. It hasn't been a fun year. It hasn't been a fun couple of years. You've had like spurts where it's been fun for the last few years, but not consistently and obviously not good enough. Don't know anyone who would tell you that it's been good enough. You're not. If your thesis about this team is, well, it's just not good enough. No shit. We agree. I promise you, we agree. Mm-hmm. I am just exhausted by just the Edgar Allan Poe style angst and woe about it's game day. then do something else. Get in the time machine and go to 2015, 2016. What were you doing on those weekday evenings then? And Dell, right now I'm actually driving to work. That's why I'm able to pop in and out. Is
Yes.
like when I give the Irish goodbye a lot of times, it's because I'm driving to work and I get to work and then Irish goodbye.
Yes.
But like on the road, I can't do my job. So
No,
this is my time of this is my window.
yes, Jared is a transponster. That's what he does that's what his job is.
But whatever you were doing in 2016, 2015, whatever you're doing with your life on the weeknights, go back to doing that. I don't know. No one's holding a gun and making you watch this team. And if you choose not to, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong right now.
Yes. All right. So Carlos is in his car. Let me get Carlos Rubio
Go.
So hang on. Don't go away. Carlos, you are in your car. All right. How difficult was it for this club to go undefeated this year?
Question?
Yeah. How difficult was it to run the table this season?
I mean, obviously, our conference is very competitive, and you have teams such as Port City, Appalachian FC that obviously extra competitive. So it's difficult to play a team like UP 3 times on a year and win all 3. So it's been a challenge, but obviously, like I said earlier, we built a roster that we felt confident that every game we will have the chances to win it. And in those small margin games, the boys find ways to win. So it's been a challenge, it's been difficult, but we prepared for it, and we're super proud of what we achieved thus far.
When are you leaving?
Leaving tomorrow. And tomorrow morning, we'll head towards San Francisco, and then we'll get there tomorrow. Hopefully, practice on Friday, and then be ready for match on Saturday.
Well, be safe, have fun, pick your 18. We'll be watching. Thanks for dropping by, and go stick your phone into an ice bath.
Yes.
And thanks for coming in this morning. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, John. I appreciate you.
All right. Carlos Rubio, head coach at Hickory FC. He made it, Jarrett. He made it. And he mentioned actually having to beat App FC 3 times in a season. That going up against Dale Parker is always tough.
Look, we actually in a past life last year.
Yeah.
My associations, the Patheos, had me run in with Hickory, and they were a pain in the ass last year in the most complimentary way possible. They were tough to play. Dale Parker has built what you could, I guess, amount to an NPSL institution at App. And the Sasquatch is not easily knocked off.
No.
And they've been a pain in the ass to deal with for everybody. What Hickory did, though, last year in doing so, and then this year to keep making that run and now having to go out west to the land of the burrito is commendable as hell. And this is two of the last 3 NPSL national championship games have now featured someone coming from the Southeast. The Patheos 2 years ago, when they had to go out to Oklahoma and lost in penalties, and now Hickory having to go out west. Mm-hmm. It's awesome to see, because we know what exists out. We know what existed out in the Midwest, and look, you could do like an entire. I think you could do an entire podcast just on the chaos in Tulsa. No. With the club and with the NPSL. But we know what exists out west. But it's awesome seeing Hickory come online and build themselves up. And now getting a chance to go lift hardware. Mm-hmm. And keep an eye on them now, because now they're in a situation where you're going to see them again in U.S. Open Cup in 2026. And we saw it 3 years ago, when App FC came out of the Southeast. I think they made the quarterfinal nationally.
Yeah, and I think they.
And I apologize. I apologize if they made the semifinal.
I think it was Motown. Was it Motown in the semis where they lost? I think
so. And I apologize if I'm underselling what App did that year. But then they went into Open Cup and pulled a cup set in their first entry round.
Yep.
So hopefully Hickory's able to do the same thing. And I'm very, very happy to see more Southeastern teams go full in the China shop on NPSL. We'd love to see it.
Yep. Full disclosure, we've got it posted on the video side. It is broadcast live, NPSL.com, via YouTube, Charles Wallen, Sarah Och. 5 o'clock Pacific, so 8 o'clock Saturday night at Kezar. Free for fans to go and see the match at Kezar Stadium, El Farolito and Hickory for the national championship in the NPSL. So Charles Wall and Sarah Och, they're going to be on commentary at Kezar, 8 o'clock Eastern time Saturday night for Hickory FC and for El Farolito. So that's your title.
Fun.
Well, and you've also got to keep an eye out on it's in California at Kezar Stadium in San Francisco.
It's in the land of the burrito.
Yes, and I'm
hoping
hoping
is that they're that club that you saw pop up in U.S. Open Cup every year or two or three, that are basically named after a burrito shop near San Francisco or San Jose. John, I know this is your turf, not mine, in terms of
it's in San Francisco proper, and they're named after a burrito, a Mexican restaurant that is famous for its burritos. Yes.
So yeah, they are. They're the ones that pop up in Open Cup and generally have 1 or 2 Open Cup sets a year before they bow out, and then when they bow out, it's kind of like. They kind of have that 90s U.S. national team energy where, we can beat them, but no one's enjoying this. It's like tackling a ball of knives. You can do it, but you're not going to have fun. No one has fun beating them and stopping a cup set. They're just a pain to play. They're consistently doing that. It's such a hilariously well-run operation on the NPSL level.
Yes. Let's see. So we talked about what's going on with Leagues Cup yesterday. Leagues Cup today.
Leagues Cup was drunk last night. Jesus Christ.
Yes, it was. I mean, it's not every day when you go 11-10 and the guy that led off with a make had a miss when you looped back around in the 12th round.
Dennis Boyanga couldn't get it done.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I did not realize it's one of those things I didn't realize it, and I never think about it until I see the comments. I didn't realize how many LAFC fans are just done with Steve Cherundolo.
Woo.
They've won with him consistently.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my cup of tea. It's more. It's less adventurous than I prefer. I think for me, it's somewhere between. I exist in that space between Cherundolo, who does not venture out much. When they have to, they can be fun because they have a good roster. And Dennis Boyanga is a game-changing player.
Mm-hmm.
It's somewhere between that and Gonzalo Pineda's almost suicidal level of attack. Which again, for all of the underperforming on the record side that Atlanta did, you can't say they didn't try to attack. That man put bodies forward out of the stands. He was throwing bodies forward. But for me, it's somewhere kind of between that. And Cherundolo is just a little too defensive for my taste, but it's worked. So I'm not going to tell you that it's wrong, and I'm not going to tell you that he's wrong, because it's worked to the tune of, and I'm sorry, Rich, we won't talk about, I will redact the name of the game for Rich, the redacted game at the end of the season where Gareth Bale came off of the 18th green and scored and then got it to penalties. And we're going to protect Rich from that one. Anyway, moving on. Because I like Rich. But it's worked to the tune of that game and other wins. But I didn't realize how tired of him they were. They're ready. Yeah. They're ready to move on. I know that's not everybody, and look, every club has its unhinged online fans, and I am sure that they have plenty in LA for LAFC. I just didn't realize that There were enough of them on the online side, and it's just one of those things where you're like, oh, y'all think that's a problem? I'll show you what a problem is. You want to see it? I'll show you what problems are. And if you don't believe me, I'll send you to DC and they can show you what problems are.
Emilio,
Emilio, what would Pineda do with the current team? Probably about the same as he did, because I'm still of the camp that this roster needs to be flipped like a flapjack. Because now you're on your third manager, including the interim last year, who has not been able to consistently get guys to lock in, and who keeps saying the same thing after press conferences, and is clearly being driven mad by it.
Yes.
And when it's one manager that you're like, man, this guy is not getting the best out of this group, I have no problem at all moving on from that manager. I'm like, you know what? It's not working. It's time. Move on. Do it. Because you're not going to help anybody by just hanging on to the stone in the shifting currents. When it is now three managers who have consistently been unable to get guys to figure it out and to consistently put in the performances.
Yeah.
You are into the territory for me where I need to overhaul this roster and I need to have a long look at leadership on this roster. And that's not just the captain's armband. That is like my big guns. I need my big guns to lead by example, and it's apparently not happening.
Yeah.
And they're not translating it. Like, I've seen training with this team. They look so loose and fun in training. They look preseason and then just don't.
Yeah.
Get a sport psychologist on staff, maybe? I don't know. I think Pineda would do about the same as what you're seeing now. Because I think that it is a nice collection of talent. I think there are technically talented players on this roster all over the place, but it is not functioning like a team consistently for 90 minutes. And that is a problem, and I don't know how you fix that. But yeah, if I did, I would have already written it on gold leaf paper, stuck it in a bottle, and floated it over there to him up the chat hooch.
Yes. About ready to kick off over at soccerdownhere.net and on our Mixler channel, soccerdownhere.mixler.com. It is Atlanta United 2, and it is New England Revolution 2 in Foxborough. Once again, starting lineup, getting ready for this one. It is Ransom in net, Caden Moore, Salmat Safaro, Ronan Wynn, Braden Dunham, Javi Armas, Aiden Torres, Moises Tablante, Gabriel Wesse, Ryan Carmichael, Rodrigo Neri, your bench. Donaldson, Sesic, Majub, Cibrian, Suarez, Kovac, and Weah. So that is getting ready. Obviously, kick off at 3 minutes after the hour. Juice boxes for tonight in Leagues Cup. Messi and friends, big favorite with Atlas coming to town at a minus 278. Draws a plus 420. Atlas is a plus 550. Necaxa at Mercedes-Benz is an underdog at a plus 186, listed as the home team. Atlanta United a plus 118, draws a plus 271. 8 o'clock, Pumas hosting the purple team. Pumas a plus 309. Purple team's a minus 127, draws a plus 258. Minnesota United and Querétaro. Minnesota United loons a minus 222, draws a plus 343. Querétaro a plus 509. Club America at 9:30, hosting RSL at a minus 119, draws a plus 261. RSL a plus 289. Portland Timbers at 10:30, hosting Atlético San Luis at a minus 119, draws a plus 282. Draw is a plus 263. Jarrett, last thoughts before I get into gossip, rumor, innuendo, and what to watch. I think he wandered into a part of Utah where he doesn't have a signal. There he is.
No, I couldn't unmute it for the life of me.
Okay.
Again, make your decisions wisely. watch or don't watch. Just enjoy life. And
Yes.
if you're gonna hate watch or if suffering is just your kink,
Yeah.
okay, go for it. I'm not gonna tell you you're wrong. Go watch the twos. Go watch the
Yes.
first team tonight, or
Yeah.
go watch another game if you want to. Again, no shame here. No, we're not gonna kink
Yes.
shame.
Nope.
If you want to go watch another team play, by all means, go do it. Again, it's beautiful now because this game will be on at 5:30 for me, so I'll be making dinner with this game on in the background, and then I will just flip over to RSL afterward. Again, 10 out of 10. Would enjoy it thoroughly.
Yeah. Atlanta United is in their Resurgence Blues, and the Revs are in their dark blue kits as well. What to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it. Yes. The twos are in there. Yeah. CBS Sports Network USL Championship, Hartford, New Mexico at 8 o'clock. FS1 Leagues Cup, Timbers and Atletico San Luis at 10:30. Coming up bottom of the hour on ESPN Deportes, Mallorca and Lyon. All the Leagues Cup action is on MLS Season Pass. Next Pro, this match and the match at 7:30. Carolina Core, Union 2 on MLS Next Pro on Apple TV. Friendlies on the Plus. Mallorca, Lyon, 11:30. Sports Freunde Siegen and Dortmund at 12:30. Wolfsburg Espanyol at 1. Coventry City and Betis at 2. League One action, Knoxville and Charlotte at 7. Paramount Plus, once again, simulcasting USL Championship. Peacock has the doubleheader. West Ham, Everton, 6:30. Manchester United and Bournemouth to follow. Gossip, rumor, and innuendo before we get out of here. And so you can go and listen to the twos and watch the twos and have both of your devices going on all at the same time. We'll start with our buddy Ben Jacobs. Manchester United opening formal talks on Benjamin Sesko after sending a secret delegation to Germany. Vivel Amorim put forward Ollie Watkins. Newcastle remain in the race. We talked about that with our buddy Dylan Butler. Also, Arsenal in talks with Crystal Palace over Eberici Eze. Palace seeking Eze's release clause, triggered or matched. As per Ed Aarons, Palace want £35 million up front in any deal. Eze remains keen on a move, and it is and an Arsenal bid outside of the clause is still anticipated. Ahmed Hassan Kuka set to join Al Ettifaq on a one-year deal from Le Havre, being finalized for the striker. Also on the board this morning, look at Genoa's new kid. It's insane. Chelsea hoping to finalize Yoel Hato this week. Deal advanced, potentially agreed to the next 24 to 48 hours. Sunderland confirming Granit Xhaka is joined on a 3-year deal. Fee is $13 million plus 4 in add-ons. And so that'll help out Sunderland. Ipswich have had a £15 million plus add-ons bid for Middlesbrough's Hayden Hackney accepted. Kieran McKenna now trying to convince Hackney to sign. Alex Crook with the word on that. Big save early on in the first minute for the Revs. Bayern confirmed Luis Diaz joining on a 4-year deal, €70 million plus 5 in add-ons. All bonuses are considered achievable. Liverpool paying a fixed fee of £200,000 for Will Wright from Salford City. And Newcastle once again reached an agreement with Southampton to sign Aaron Ramsdale on a season-long loan, according to David Ornstein, among all the other stuff. Go watch the twos. We're out the door. See you in 22. It's going to be, once again, catching up with folks from Leagues Cup. That's going to be Friday morning at 11 now because of business, which is stuff that they got to take care of after the end of match day 1. End of the show. That means we get to do this. SoccerDownHere.net, SoccerDownHere.mixler.com. Jason's on the call. Enjoy it. Go watch. Go listen. See you later.